KITV4 News at 5 starts now.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Paula Akana. Chaos. That's what the state predicts would happen if upcoming elections, if redistricting maps are thrown out by a federal court. A lawsuit filed in April demands military personnel and their families be counted for the purpose of drawing new House and Senate districts. KITV4's Andrew Pereira has tonight's top story.
Plaintiffs claim the exclusion of 108,000 military personnel, their family members, and non-resident university students from Hawaii's redistricting rolls is illegal under the Equal Protection Clause of the U.S. Constitution.
That's the big issue in the case, is if they're not counted in Hawaii, they're really not counted anywhere.
Hawaii has a 50-year history of only counting registered voters or permanent residents toward redistricting.
After a while, you begin to think, well, maybe it is just pretextual. It is just a backdoor way of saying that military folks and their families aren't true members of our community.
The state argued excluding certain military members and their families is an issue of policy, not legality.
It really doesn't affect your right to vote, your right to be represented, your right to petition your legislatures.
The state argued throwing out the current redistricting plan would bring disarray and confusion to the primary election in August, while also impacting November's general election. Election officials would have to start over to secure 4,000 precinct officials and 233 polling places. In addition, hundreds of thousands of ballots would have to be reprinted.
By my calculations, it would be into October before you could have the state elections. And, of course, then you're only a month away from the November general election, so you might have to have that delayed as well.
A panel of 3 federal judges heard arguments for just over 2 hours. The judges asked probing questions from both sides.
We couldn't have asked for anything more. A very engaged court. They seem to understand the issues.
I suspect we'll have a decision sometime next week.
And the plaintiffs say that the only other state that excludes military members and their relatives from redistricting is Kansas. If the plaintiffs lose their motion for a preliminary injunction, the lawsuit would likely move to trial. However, that would not have an impact on this year's elections. Andrew Pereira, KITV4 News.